Ready? Be ready. Start. The first respondent resisted the suit, contending that the appellant had purchased the suit property during the pendency of her suit for partition and that being a purchaser pendulite. The sale in his favor was hit by the doctrine of lis pendens and therefore he could not claim any right in the suit property. Full stop. She asserted that the suit property was not the self-acquired property of the second respondent and that the suit property purchased by her father in the name of second respondent. She denied that there was any collusion between her and the second respondent. Full stop. The second respondent did not contest the suit. Full stop. New para. The trial court, by judgment dated 6/7/2005, dismissed the appellant suit. It held that the suit property was not the self-acquired property of second respondent and there was no collusion between first and second respondents and that the appellant, having purchased the suit property under sale deed dated 1/4/1990 during the pendency of the suit for partition filed by the first respondent against the second respondent, the sale in his favor was hit by the doctrine of lis pendens and therefore the appellant did not get any title to the suit property and he was not entitled to the relief of declaration and injunction sought by him. Full stop. The appeal filed by the appellant was dismissed by the first appellate court by judgment and decree dated 26/3/2008. The second appeal filed by the appellant was dismissed by the High Court by the impugned judgment dated 1/9/2009 by holding that appellant was a pendulite purchaser attracting the doctrine of lis pendens under section 52 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 and therefore the courts below were justified in ignoring the purchase by appellant. Full stop. Feeling aggrieved, the appellant filed the present appeal. Full stop. New para. The partition suit was decreed holding that the first respondent was entitled to half share in the properties which were the subject matter of partition suit including the suit property. In final decree proceedings, an equitable division was made accepting the report of the commissioner who had divided the suit property as per the sketch resulting in approximately 3/4 of the suit property being allotted to the first respondent and only the remaining 1/4 of the suit property being allotted to the second respondent. Full stop. The contention of the appellant that the partition suit by the first respondent against the second respondent was collusive and that the suit property was the self-acquired property of the second respondent and the first respondent did not have a share therein have been concurrently negatived. Full stop. The alternative contention of the appellant that even the first respondent had a half share therein, the division and allotment of the properties in the partition suit ought to have been made in a manner that the entire suit property was allotted to the share of second respondent to work out equities was also negatived by the courts below. Full stop. New para. Learned counsel for the contesting respondents submitted that the assistant registrar was well within his jurisdiction to have registered the list of office bearers keeping in view the proviso contained in section 4 of the Societies Registration Act as amended and applicable in the state of UP full stop. He submits that the assistant registrar was within his authority to invite objections and thereafter register the list of office bearers, which has been done in the instant case full stop. He further submits that the election officer Madan Singh has colluded with the appellants and has not appeared before the assistant registrar, which would not amount to lack of any evidence in support of the elections dated 14/9/2008. He further submits that the list of office bearers of the contesting respondents is a valid list and the contention raised on behalf of the appellant is without any substance full stop new para. Having heard learned counsel for the parties, the first issue which has to be determined was the validity of the meeting that had been convened for the purpose of holding of the election dated 14/9/2008. The meeting ought to have been convened by the outgoing committee and it could not have been a decision by persons who are not entitled to proceed with the elections full stop. The order of the assistant registrar does not reflect on this issue and even otherwise the same would be a matter of consideration by the prescribed authority while proceeding to consider any doubt or dispute with regard to the elections of office bearers full stop. It is also on record that the elections which had been convened in the year 2004 were never held and there was an ongoing dispute with regard to the alleged induction of 76 new members. It is also on record that the Joint Director of Education had found 328 members entitled to participate in election, which was a piece of evidence to be looked into before finalizing the electoral college full stop. Apart from this, if the elections of the committee of management of the society were not held within time, then after such a finding is recorded by the prescribed authority, it is the assistant registrar who can proceed to hold the elections under subsection 2 of section 25 of the Act full stop. In the instant case, the elections were not held after 2001 full stop new para. For the aforesaid reasons, the order of the assistant registrar dated 23/2010 is unsustainable in law. In our opinion, the learned single judge ought to have been set aside the order of the assistant registrar and remitted the matter to the prescribed authority for decision in accordance with the rules and the provisions of section 25 of the Societies Registration Act 1860 full stop. The learned single judge therefore fell in error in relegating the appellants on the ground of availability of alternative remedy without setting aside the order of the assistant registrar, who was bound to refer the dispute in view of the provisions referred here in above full stop new para. Having heard the learned counsel for the parties, the court find that the directions given by the learned single judge is in consonance with the policy framed by the Mandi Samiti full stop. A perusal of the policy indicates that priority was to be given to those traders who had no shops allotted to them and who were paying the mandi fee full stop. Clause 1 of the scheme indicates that the list would be prepared from those eligible traders who had no shop allotted in their name and who were paying mandi fee. Full stop. Class 1 indicated that the list would be prepared in the descending order, namely that a order who was paying the highest fee would be placed at serial number 1 and a person paying a lower fee would become at serial number 2 and so forth. In the light of this provision, the learned single judge found that there were 147 appellants and that the total number of shops constructed were 74 in number. The learned single judge accordingly directed that the Mandi Samiti would prepare a list of those applicants that do not have a shop in the market yard, either in the individual name or even as a partner of them. Full stop. Thank you.